Summer Escape. Chapter 1, Spring Mistakes. In the spring of his senior year, Gu Zehan finally ushered in his first heartbeat after being single for many years. He was the senior of the previous class, named Sikong Rui, handsome, smiling gently, and considerate to her. The surrounding students were envious and sighed, "Your luck is so good, Gu Zehan." Gu Zehan frowned secretly, but there was a hint of uneasiness in his heart. She clearly knew that being tempted by such a person was an unrealistic fantasy. But no one expected that this seemingly perfect relationship would collapse in just 1 week. Chapter 2, Short Sweetness. Sikong Rui smiled gently, and every time he approached, Gu Zehan's heart beat faster. The two walked hand in hand on the campus path, the sun shining on his hair. Gu Zehan even thought for a while that his life would be filled with tenderness like this. "Zehan, I like you very much," Sikong Rui said softly, with warmth in his eyes. She nodded, her heart like melting snow, smiling quietly. However, no one could have imagined that this sweetness was just a short-lived firework. Chapter 3, 7 Days of Phantoms. 7 days later, Sikong Rui proposed to break up. Gu Zehan was stunned in place, and the whole world seemed to collapse. She didn't even have time to ask why. The news spread like wildfire, and everyone was shocked. It turned out that Sikong Rui was just making a bet, pursuing her just to create the miracle of his shortest love record. Gu Zehan fell from everyone's admiration, but there was a trace of relief in his heart. She didn't expect that she would be so attentive to a joking love. Chapter 4, The Taste of Freedom. At the moment of breaking up, Gu Zehan almost cried with joy. She understands that a man's world is too troublesome and boring, and being single is the most comfortable. She can live as she pleases and is no longer tied to anyone. Finally, I can breathe well. She laughed softly, feeling the sweetness of freedom. However, she didn't know that under this free sky, fate had quietly paved another emotional trajectory for her. Chapter 5, A Cruel Reminder. Before the breakup, Sikong Rui once told her kindly, "In this era, there is no sincerity, and there will be no sincerity you want." Gu Zehan recalled this sentence, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. It turns out that turbidity is the norm. She even secretly made up her mind that if someone wanted to get close to her, it had to be sincere, otherwise, she just wanted to live happily. Chapter 6, The Corner of Destiny. The summer vacation of college is approaching, and Gu Zehan accidentally met the male protagonist, Liang Hokan, in the library. He is a well-known presence at Yunchuan University and the ruler of the Liang family, and the outside world evaluates him as ruthless and decisive. However, he in front of Gu Zehan was completely different. He is gentle and considerate, noble and polite, and has a sincere smile on every greeting from her. Her heart was shocked, and for the first time, she felt, perhaps, that her heart really existed. Chapter 7, The First Interaction. Liang Hokan took the initiative to help her take the dropped book, and his voice was low and magnetic. "Your book is falling." Gu Zehan's face was slightly red and he pursed his lips. "Thank you." At this moment, she felt that this man's aura was completely different from Sikong Rui's. He is not only glamorous on the outside, but also can make people feel the warmth of his heart. From this moment on, a strange expectation quietly arose in her heart. He would love her deeply and treat her sincerely. Chapter 8, The Invitation of the Night. Liang Hokan asked her to take a walk by the campus lake. The night was like water, and the moonlight was reflected on the lake. "Do you believe that some feelings can be very sincere?" he asked in a low voice. Gu Zehan looked at him, his heart throbbing slightly. "I think, I can believe it." Under the moonlight, his gaze was deep, with an irresistible attraction. underscore 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 un. Chapter 9, Summer Heartbeat. On a summer night, Gu Zehan was lying on the bed, recalling Liang Hokan's every move, his heart throbbing. He would bring fruit when she was tired, comfort her softly when she was sad, and his eyes were full of sincere concern. Unlike Sikong Rui's short-lived relationship, Liang Hokan's every move made her feel sweet in her heart. She secretly made up her mind, no matter what, this time, she wanted to feel this love. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 10, Strange Phone Calls. Late one night, Gu Zehan received a strange phone call with a drunken voice and a familiar taste. Don't be deceived. Do you know how deep Liang Hokan's desire to control is? He is not a good person. Gu Zehan smiled easily, his voice sweet and bright. You know, what's wrong? On the other end of the phone, Sikong Rui's voice suddenly fell, but with unwillingness and red-eyed humility. Have you ever liked me? She just smiled, and suddenly there was a low gasp in Liang Hokan's voice. It's been over a minute, what should I do? Hey. The next second, she hung up the phone obediently. That summer, she finally truly escaped from Sikong Rui's murky world and ushered in her own freedom and sweetness. Chapter 11, The Throbbing of the Lakeside. The lake surface on a summer night was slightly flooded, and Gu Zehan sat on a bench, looking at the moonlight reflected on the water. Liang Hokan walked to her, lowered his head slightly, and said in a low voice, Do you like it here? She nodded slightly, her heart throbbing slightly. The moonlight shone on his side face, well defined, and his eyes were gentle but deep. Someone loves you deeply. He said softly, seeping into her heart like a whisper. Gu Zehan closed his eyes, his heart beat like a drum, and for the first time he felt so clearly that his heart really existed. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 12, Unexpected Approach. Gu Zehan accidentally got wet from the rain on the way back to the dormitory and staggered. Liang Hokan appeared from behind and took her into his arms without hesitation. Are you okay? His voice was low and magnetic, the temperature of his chest passed through her back. Gu Zehan's whole body froze for a second, and then leaned slightly into his arms. At that moment, she understood for the first time that the proximity of some people could quietly disintegrate the defense line in people's hearts. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 13, The Heartbeat of the Night. Late at night, Gu Zehan lay on the bed and recalled Liang Hokan's movements, her heart beating like a drum. He will show up when she needs comfort the most, and he will also wait silently when she is tired. She secretly made up her mind in her heart. This time, she wanted to fully accept this sincere relationship. The moonlight outside the window was like water, reflected on her face, quietly seeping into her heart, throbbing like a tide. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 14, Control and Dependence. Liang Hokan gradually showed his desire to control. After a gathering, he said in a low voice, I want to know where you are going. Gu Zehan's heart was shocked, but he felt a strange sense of relief. She understood that this was not a bondage, but a deep love, like a beacon in the dark night, guiding her way. In the dark night, she felt for the first time that love can be gentle or with a strong sense of protection. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 15, The Temptation of Summer. Liang Hokan asked her to meet under the ancient trees on campus, and the moonlight shone with mottled light and shadow. Do you know? He said in a low voice, looking straight into her, I don't like people approaching you. Gu Zehan's heart was hot, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly, I don't want to leave you either. That night, the lake breeze blew gently, his fingers covered her hand, and their heartbeats were intertwined, throbbing like a tide. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 16, Strange Warnings. Late one night, Gu Zehan received a strange phone call with a drunken voice urgent, don't be deceived. He's not a good person. Gu Zehan chuckled, I know, what's wrong? On the other end of the phone was Sikong Rui, with a humble tone, have you ever liked me? She just laughed, and Liang Hokan's low voice came from her ear. It's been over for a minute, what should I do, hey? Gu Zehan hung up the phone, feeling sweet and comfortable in her heart, as if she and Liang Hokan were the only ones left in the world. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 17, The First Argument. Liang Hokan's desire to control sometimes made Gu Zehan a little uncomfortable. Once, when she wanted to have a party alone with friends, he said in a low voice, I want you to tell me. Gu Zehan pursed his lips slightly, I need my own space. He was silent for a moment, then held her hand with tenderness in his eyes, I just want to protect you. Her heart was slightly shocked, and for the first time she understood that love sometimes has strong boundaries and deep protection. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 18, Throbbing in the Middle of the Night. Late at night, Gu Zehan lay on the bed and recalled the dispute during the day, but a kind of sweetness welled up in his heart. For the first time, she realized that Liang Hokan's strength and gentleness coexisted, and her dependence on him was also a happy throbbing. The moonlight outside the window was cold, and her heart was quietly melted, throbbing like a tide. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 19, The Night of the First Kiss. One rainy night, Gu Zehan was sorting out materials in the study. Liang Hokan approached, and a low voice sounded, Are you tired? Gu Zehan nodded slightly, he pulled her into his arms and kissed her gently on the lips. In the dark night, she felt that her heart was completely occupied by him, throbbing like a tide, and she understood that this love had transcended words. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 20, The Promise of Summer. The next day, Liang Hokan held her hand on the balcony, the moonlight fell like water, and he whispered, No matter what the world is like, I just want you. Gu Zehan leaned against his chest, his heart beating like a drum, and tears welling up in his eyes. She understood that this time, she had found true love, sincere and deep. Chapter 21, The Approach of the Rainy Night. On a summer night, the sound of rain crashed on the window, and Gu Zehan stood on the balcony, his heart beating wildly. Liang Hokan walked behind her, held an umbrella above their heads, and unconsciously covered the back of her hand with his hand. Do you like this rain? He asked in a low voice, his voice low and magnetic. Gu Zehan leaned against his chest, feeling the temperature of his chest, trembling slightly. I like. The moonlight was refracted through the rain curtain, his silhouette was softly reflected, and the temperature penetrated into her heart through his hands. At this moment, for the first time, she really felt that there was a deep tenderness in his desire to control. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 22, The Throbbing of the Study. Late at night, Gu Zehan knocked on the door of the study. Liang Hokan was sorting out the files, and the screen light reflected the coldness of his side face. You're here again. He said in a low voice. Gu Zehan's heart was slightly shaken, and he said softly, I want to see you. He frowned slightly, reached out to cover the back of her hand, and slowly pulled her closer. In the dark night, his breath, and heartbeat intertwined with her, and she felt an unprecedented throbbing. At this moment, the 0-degree moonlight man completely filled her world for the first time. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 23, The Temptation of the Night. Liang Hokan's desire to control gradually appeared. Once she wanted to go to a friend's party, he said in a low voice, Where are you going? I want to know. Gu Zehan pursed his lips slightly, I just want to get together with my friends. He held her hand with deep eyes, I just want to protect you. Gu Zehan's heart was hot, and for the first time, he understood that love can have strong boundaries or deep protection. She was willing to accept this kind of throbbing. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 24, The Sweetness of Summer. In the afternoon, Gu Zehan was sitting in the library, and Liang Hokan brought her favorite coffee and cake. Are you tired today? He asked with a smile. Gu Zehan's heart throbbed slightly, it's a bit, but it's much better to see you. He lowered his head with a smile on his lips, his fingers gently covering her hand. She felt the transmission of the temperature of her fingertips, and the sweetness spread in her heart. This sweetness is not short-lived, but a warmth that makes people depend on. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 25, Confession in the Middle of the Night. Late one night, Gu Zehan was lying on the bed recalling Liang Hokan's actions, and his heart was throbbing. For the first time, she realized that his control and gentleness coexisted, and her dependence on him turned out to be a throbbing of pleasure. The moonlight outside the window was like water, and she whispered softly, "So love can be so real." In the dark night, his presence enveloped her like a tide, throbbing like a raging tide. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 26, Unexpected Phone Call. Late at night, Gu Zehan received a call from Sikong Rui, his tone trembling. "You, have you ever liked me?" Gu Zehan chuckled, his tone sweet and bright. "Got it, leave me alone." The silence on the other end of the phone made Sikong Rui's heart shake slightly. After she hung up, Liang Hokan's low voice came from her ear. "What should I do if it has been over for a minute, hey?" Gu Zehan's heart was hot, and for the first time, he felt the freedom and sweetness after escaping from the turbid world. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 27, The First Dispute. Liang Hokan's control sometimes made her uncomfortable. Once, she insisted on having a party with friends, and he said in a low voice, "I want you to tell me." Gu Zehan pursed his lips, "I need my own space." He was silent for a moment, holding her hand with tenderness in his eyes. "I just want to protect you." For the first time, she understood that his strength and gentleness could coexist, and she was willing to accept this kind of love. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 28, The First Kiss on a Rainy Night. On a rainy night, Gu Zehan was sorting out information in the study, and Liang Hokan walked behind her and asked in a low voice, "Are you tired?" She nodded slightly, and he pulled her into his arms and kissed her on the lips. In the dark night, she felt for the first time that his love and possessiveness were surging like a tide, and the throbbing in her heart was irresistible. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 29, The Night Heats Up. The next day, the sun shone into the room through the curtains, and Gu Zehan recalled the throbbing last night, and his heart was slightly hot. She understood that this time, she had found true love deep, sincere, with control but reassuring. The moonlight outside the window shone on her face, throbbing like a raging tide, and she secretly made up her mind to cherish this love. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 30, Summer Promise. Liang Hokan held her hand and said in a low voice, "No matter what the world is like, I just want you." Gu Zehan leaned against his chest, his heart beating like a drum, and tears welling up in his eyes. She understood that this time, she had finally found her true happiness, sincere, deep, and irreplaceable. Chapter 31, The Affection of the Night Rain. The sound of rain on a summer night hit the window, and Gu Zehan curled up on the balcony chair, his heart throbbing slightly. Liang Hokan walked to her, stretched out his hand to cover her shoulders, and a low voice sounded, "Are you cold?" Gu Zehan looked up and saw that his side face was particularly soft reflected by the rain, and his chest was stuffy, and he said softly, "It's not cold with you." His hand slowly covered hers, the rain and body temperature intertwined, throbbing like a tide. At this moment, she understood for the first time that his desire for control had a deep gentleness that could make her indulge willingly. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 32, The Heartbeat of the Study. Late at night, Gu Zehan pushed open the door of the study and saw Liang Hokan still sorting out the files. "Come to disturb me again?" he asked in a low voice, his eyes cold with a hint of tenderness. She laughed softly, her heart racing, "I just want to be with you for a while." He was silent for a moment, reached out to cover the back of her hand, and pulled her into his arms, his breathing and heartbeat intertwined with her in the dark night, throbbing like a tide. Gu Zehan's world was completely filled for the first time. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 33, The Boundaries of Control. Liang Hokan's desire to control became more and more obvious, and Gu Zehan sometimes felt slightly uneasy. Once, she insisted on a party with friends, and he said in a low voice, "I want to know where you are going." Gu Zehan pursed his lips, "I just want my own space." He was silent for a moment, holding her hand with tenderness in his eyes, "I just want to protect you." Gu Zehan's heart was slightly shocked, and for the first time she understood that this love was both strong and safe, and she was willing to immerse herself in it. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 34, The Sweetness of Summer. In the afternoon, Gu Zehan sat in the library, and Liang Hokan quietly brought her favorite coffee and cake. "Are you tired?" he asked with a smile, his voice low and gentle. She nodded, her heart throbbing. "It's a little, but it's much better to see you." He lowered his head and covered her hand with his fingers, the temperature penetrating into her heart. This sweetness is not just superficial care, but deep affection that people can rely on. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 35, The Throbbing of the First Night. Late one night, Gu Zehan was lying on the bed recalling Liang Hokan's actions, and his heart was throbbing. For the first time, she realized that his strength and gentleness coexisted, and her dependence on him was also a throbbing of happiness. The moonlight outside the window was like water, and she whispered, "So love can be so real." In the dark night, his presence enveloped her like a tide, throbbing and turbulent, and she understood that this love would be deeply rooted in her heart. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 36, Strange Warnings. Late at night, Gu Zehan received a call from Sikong Rui in a humble tone. Have you ever liked me?" Gu Zehan responded with a sweet smile, "Got it, leave me alone." The silence on the other end of the phone made Sikong Rui's heart shake slightly. After she hung up, Liang Hokan's low voice came from her ear, "What should I do if it has been over for a minute, hey?" Gu Zehan's heart was hot, and for the first time, he experienced the freedom and sweetness after escaping from the murky world. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 37, The First Dispute. Liang Hokan's strength sometimes made her uncomfortable. Once, she insisted on having a party with friends, and he said in a low voice, "I want you to tell me." Gu Zehan pursed his lips slightly, "I need my own space." He was silent for a moment, holding her hand with tenderness in his eyes. "I just want to protect you." At this moment, she understood that his strength and gentleness coexisted, and love could be so heartwarming. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 38, The Night of the First Kiss. On a rainy night, Gu Zehan was sorting out information in the study, and Liang Hokan walked behind her and asked in a low voice, "Are you tired?" She nodded slightly, and he pulled her into his arms and kissed her on the lips. In the dark night, she felt his possession and love, her heart throbbed and surged, and she understood that this love transcended words. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 39, Promise in the Moonlight. The next day, Liang Hokan held her hand. The moonlight fell like water, and he said in a low voice, "No matter what the world is like, I just want you." Gu Zehan leaned against his chest, his heart beating like a drum, and tears welling up in his eyes. She understood that this time, she had finally found her true happiness, sincere, deep, and irreplaceable. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 40, The Throbbing Heating. On a summer afternoon, they took a walk together by the campus lake. Liang Hokan stretched out his hand to cover her hand, and his low voice sounded, "Do you know? Every time I see you, I feel like you are the only one left in the world." Gu Zehan's heart throbbed slightly, and the corners of his mouth rose, "Me too." In the dark night, the moonlight intertwined with the lake, their throbbing was as turbulent as a tide, and the night of zero moonlight was filled with warmth for the first time. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 41, The Temptation of the Summer Night. Liang Hokan's desire to control became more and more obvious, and Gu Zehan sometimes felt uneasy. I want to know where you are going, he said in a low voice. I just want to get together with friends. She pursed her lips slightly. I just want to protect you. He held her hand with tenderness in his eyes. Gu Zehan's heart was slightly hot, and for the first time he understood, his love was both strong and safe. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 42, Late Night Hugs. Late at night, Gu Zehan curled up on the bed and recalled the dispute during the day, but sweetness welled up in his heart. For the first time, she realized that his control and gentleness coexisted, and her dependence was also a throbbing of joy. The moonlight outside the window was cold, and she was quietly melted, throbbing like a tide. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 43, The Lingering of Rainy Nights. On a rainy night, Gu Zehan was waiting for him to come home on the balcony, and Liang Hokan came over with an umbrella and pulled her into his arms. Do you like this rain? He asked in a low voice. The ice cooling zone was slightly hot. Gu Zehan leaned on his chest, his heart beating faster, the sound of rain, the night, and his breath completely surrounded her. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 44, The Sweetness of Moonlight. At night, they sat side by side on the balcony, moonlight like water. Liang Hokan whispered, From now on, you only belong to me. Gu Zehan laughed softly, leaning on his chest, his heart beating like a drum. In the dark night, their world was left with only each other. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 45, Throbbing Climax. On a rainy night, they lingered in the study, and Liang Hokan's low voice sounded, Is your heart sweet enough now? Gu Zehan's chest was stuffy, her breathing was short, and in the dark night, she was completely immersed in his love and possession. Zero moonlight completely fills her world. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 46, Secret Confession. Late at night, Gu Zehan told Liang Hokan what he had been hiding. I have always liked you. Liang Hokan was silent for a moment, his eyes were as deep as night, and he whispered, I know. Gu Zehan's heart was shocked, and for the first time, he felt that his love had already been deeply rooted in his heart. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 47, Late Night Promises. At night, they sat side by side on the balcony, the moonlight was like water. Liang Hokan whispered, No matter what the outside world does, I just want you. Gu Zehan leaned on his chest, his heart beating like a drum, and tears welled up in his eyes. The 0-degree moonlight heats up every night, completely occupying her heart. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 48, Fusion in the Moonlight. Late at night, they leaned on each other tightly, the moonlight shone into the room, and their heartbeats were intertwined, throbbing like a tide. Liang Hokan said in a low voice, You are mine, and you will always be mine. Gu Zehan closed her eyes, her heart throbbed like never before. She understood that no matter what the outside world was, his love had been integrated into her life. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 49, The Outburst of Love. On a rainy night, they lingered in the study, and Liang Hokan whispered, What about now, is it sweet enough? Gu Zehan's chest was stuffy, her breathing was short, and in the dark night, she was completely immersed in his love and possession, throbbing like a tide. The love of zero moonlight completely fills her world. Chapter 50, the final chapter of the night Agar Wood. Late at night, Gu Zehan snuggled into Liang Hokan's arms, the moonlight outside the window poured into the room, and their heartbeats were intertwined, throbbing like a tide. You are mine, and you will always be mine, he said in a low voice. Gu Zehan closed his eyes, felt this deep and sincere love, understood his world, and finally became complete. The night is fragrant, the sound of rain outside the window echoes like whispers, their world is only each other, and the 0-degree moonlight will always heat up in their lives.